A very good morning to all of you. So, in the last class, we were discussing about the classification of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are also known as saccharides, and they are further divided as monosaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides. Okay, carbohydrates are also divided into two parts. They are sugars and non-sugars, and sugars are all further divided into two parts. That is reducing and non-reducing sugars. Okay. Now let us discuss about the structures of monosaccharides. Okay, so monosaccharides are further of two types, that it may be aldosis or ketosis. Okay, depending upon the functional group which is present. Okay, uh, ketosis. So if aldehyde group is present, then they are known as aldosis, and if ketone group is present, then they are known as ketosis. Okay, if this group is present, this aldehyde group is present, and if this ketone group is present, then they are known as ketosis. Okay, so this thing you have to keep in your mind, that they are divided into two parts, aldosis and ketosis, depending upon the functional group which is present. Now the n value, the number of carbon atoms ranges from 3 to 7. Okay, in monosaccharides. So so they are known as trioses. For if the number of carbon atoms are 3, then it is called as trioses, and then we have tetraoses, similarly pentaoses, hexaoses. Okay, so they are further named as trioses and tetraoses. Okay, so if we have a combination of, like we have aldehyde and tri, okay, then uh, aldotrioses, it may be named as aldotrioses, or it depends upon the number of carbon atoms. Okay, what will be its name. Okay, so now let us discuss about the first main monosaccharide, that is glucose. Okay, so glucose is also known as grape sugar because it is present in grapes. So the first compound is glucose, and glucose is prepared by a fermentation of sucrose. Okay, we can easily obtain. The methods of preparation are from sucrose, and we can also prepare it by with the help of starch. Okay, now in both the reaction we have to do the hydration, we have to do the hydrolysis in presence of a strong acid. Now as we all know, the formula for sucrose is, the first method is from sucrose. Okay, so the reaction is C12H22O11 react with water in the presence of an enzyme that is known as invertase. Okay, so in the presence of invertase, sucrose gives glucose with the formula of C6H12O6 plus C6H12O6. Okay, one is glucose and the other one is fructose. Okay, so this is a very easy method to prepare glucose. Similarly, we have the other method is from starch. Okay, from starch. So the general formula for starch is C5H11O H, I think H10O5. Okay, so this is the general formula, and in which we have to add n molecules of water to give C6H12O6. Okay, so n molecules of glucose will be formed. Okay, actually this starch comprises of a large units of glucose, that is alpha glucose. Okay, so they are this starch is classified as a number of glucose units. Okay, in 3D as well as 2D structure. Okay, so actually starch is also of two types, that is amylose and amylopectin. So these two forms contain a large number of glucose units. Okay, so now how can we predict the structure of the glucose? Okay, so a large number of attempts were given by the scientists. A lot of experiments were done on glucose in order to predict its structure, in order to check which functional group is present and how many number of carbon atoms are there. Okay, so from molecular formula uh, it was easily predicted that the number of carbon atoms are 6, but the arrangement is not was not predicted at that time. So in order to with the help of the molecular formula we cannot predict the actual structure, so uh, we have to do some experiments. Okay, we have to do some reactions in order to predict the functional group as well as the structure. Okay, so uh, in order to predict prediction of the open structure. Okay, prediction of the open structure. Okay, so how can we predict the open structure? So a large number of attempts were given at that time. Okay, so the first attempt was to check the functional group. Okay, which functional group is present. So a large number of reactions were carried out, and the most important reaction was nucleophilic addition reaction. Okay, so the presence of the aldehyde group. Presence of aldehyde group. So the presence of aldehyde group was predicted by doing the reaction of this group with this glucose group uh, with some other reagents, like we have HCN. As we all know that aldehyde group contain carbonyl group, and the major reaction of carbonyl group is nucleophilic addition reaction. Okay, so glucose was able to give this nucleophilic addition reaction, so that is why it was good evidence for the scientists to predict that the functional group present is aldehyde. Okay, so the reaction was uh, okay. So this is the structure of glucose. Okay, this is a closed structure. Okay, and if we reacted with HCN, then as we all know, this is positive, partial negative, and here we have partial positive, partial negative. So firstly, this CN will attack on this carbon, and this hydrogen will shift, and this will give us the formation of cyanohydrin. Okay, so cyanohydrin will be formed. Okay, so which gives us an idea. Here we have 4, because there are 6 carbon atoms. Okay, this is cyanohydrin. So formation of this cyanohydrin confirmed that uh, that this glucose contains aldehyde group. Okay, similarly, if we reacted with hydroxylamine, okay, if we reacted with hydroxylamine, it will give, we know that this reaction is nucleophilic addition reaction followed by the elimination of water, which leads to the formation of oxime, and this reaction takes place at a pH range of, I think, 3.5 to 4.5. Okay, so uh, from this NH to NH4, uh, this H2 group will leave and this oxygen will leave, and which leads to the formation of oxime. Okay, which leads to the formation of oxime. So okay, so we have uh, so the reaction will be CNOH H NH2OH. Okay, and CHOH 4 CH2OH. Okay, so this is the formation of oxime. Okay, so these two reactions, these two experiments uh, confirms the presence of aldehyde group. Okay, the first one is a reaction with hydrogen cyanide. Okay, nucleophilic addition reaction takes place. Second one is reaction with hydroxylamine NH2OH, which gives us which gives us the formation of oxime. Okay, so these two experiments were done at that time in order to check the presence of the functional group. Okay, so now next task was to predict that Okay, so next task was to predict that how many number of OH hydroxy groups were present. Okay, one more experiment was done at that time, that is reaction with some mild oxidizing agent. Okay, if there is any aldehyde group present, okay, then it will get converted into carboxylic acid group. So that we have some mild oxidizing agent, like we have bromine water. Okay, so they use bromine water and they will get a compound that is known as gluconic acid. Okay, so formation of gluconic acid takes place. Okay, so here we have again 4 CH2OS. This is gluconic acid. Okay, so mild oxidizing agent will oxidize uh, this aldehyde group, but they are not able to oxidize this OH group, this primary OH group or any other OH group. Okay, they are not so strong to oxidize this primary group. Okay, so that is why this also predict the gives us an evidence for the presence of aldehyde group. Now the second reaction is presence of hydroxy group. Okay, hydroxy group. So in order to predict the number of hydroxy groups present, they react glucose with some acetyling agents, or like we have acetic anhydride. Okay, so they do the acetylation actually. Okay, so upon acetylation, they get, okay, upon acetylation, like we reacted with acetic anhydride. Okay, so we are doing acetylation. So upon acetylation, they got pentacetate. Okay, pentacetate. So this pentacetate, formation of this pentacetate confirmed that there are 5 OH group present. Okay, there are 5 OH group present. This confirmed the presence of 5 OH groups. Okay, pentacetate means all the hydrogens are replaced by this group CH3COO. Okay, this is acetate group. Okay, all these H are were replaced by CH3COO negative. Okay, so this confirmed the presence of the 5 hydroxyl group. Okay, next we have to predict uh, the last. There is a large difference between this OH group and this OH group. These 4 OH groups are of 2 degree and this OH group is of 1 degree. Now, as we all know, on reaction with mild oxidizing agent, okay, on reaction with mild oxidizing agent, uh, it leads to the formation of gluconic acid. Okay. Now, if we use any presence of 1 degree, if we use any strong oxidizing agent, 1 degree alcohol hydroxy group. Okay, so third is the prediction of 1 degree hydroxy group. How do we predict? So as we all know that this group, uh, this aldehyde group for CH2OH, okay, this on reaction with bromine water gives COOH CHOH4. This is gluconic acid. Okay, and we all know that a weak or mild oxidizing agent will not able to reduce the primary uh, alcoholic group. Okay, primary hydroxy group. But when we react this glucose with a strong oxidizing agent like HNO3, okay, then we will get this compound. Okay, both the groups are getting oxidized. Okay, similarly, if we react this gluconic acid directly with HNO3, then again we will get the same compound. Okay, now this confirms the presence of the primary there must be a primary OH group present, okay, which gets oxidized to this COOH group, okay, and both will give the same reaction, okay. So this is known as saccharic acid, okay. This group containing two hydroxy carboxy group is known as saccharic acid. So this confirms the presence of 1 degree hydroxy group. Okay, next we have to confirm now the presence of the state chain. So state chain can be easily predicted with the help of reaction with Hi plus red phosphorus. Okay. This reaction is we have already discussed in the chemical properties of aldehyde and ketone. Presence of state chain. Okay. So the presence of state chain at the time was confirmed by reacting this carboxylic acid. Okay. Sorry, this glucose with Hi plus red phosphorus. Okay. So when we reacted with Hi plus red phosphorus, hexane will form. Okay, formation of hexane takes place. So this confirms, and hexane is N-hexane, that is normal hexane. Okay, this confirms the presence of the state chain. Okay, this confirms the presence of the state chain. Okay, so these are the some experiments done at that time in order to predict the structure of the glucose. Okay, and after some time Fischer came up with the open structure. Okay, and the structure at that time which was given by Fischer was like this. Okay, here we have all the carbon atoms present. Okay, on the third carbon atom we have OH group on the left side, and rest of the carbon atom have OH group on the right side. Okay, so this was the structure given by Fischer at that time. Okay, so this is the whole structure given by Fischer, and he was awarded at Nobel Prize at that time due to this structure. Okay, now what about the configuration? Okay, what about the configuration of these structures, these monosaccharides? So let us discuss that one also. So they are further divided into two parts on the basis of their configuration. Okay, as D and L, configuration of structures. Okay, they are further divided into two parts as D and L. Okay, so as we all know that there are four chiral carbon atoms present. Chiral carbon atoms are those which are attached to four different groups. So as we all know that there are four carbon atoms present in glucose which are attached to four different groups. Okay, so these are the four carbon atoms which are these are the four carbon atoms which are attached to four different groups. Okay, so these are the four chiral carbon atoms, and as we all know, the formula for calculating the number of stereoisomer is 2 to the power n. N means number of carbon atoms, so we will get 16. Okay, 16 different structures in which 8 are D. Okay, and the rest one are levorotatory. Okay, dextrorotatory and levorotatory. So these dextrorotatory and levorotatory describe the optical rotation. Okay, and these are represented by negative and positive sign. Okay, now this D and L configuration tells us about the OH group which is present on the. Okay, so wait a minute. Here we have OH on the right side. Okay, so if this OH group which is second last or which is the last chiral carbon, which is present on the last chiral carbon. If it is on the right side, then it is called as D configuration. Okay, if OH group on the last chiral carbon is on right side, okay, then we call it as uh, D configuration. And if it is on the left side, then we call it as L. Now this structure is D because this OH group is present on the right side, okay, and if this OH group is present on the left side, then it is called as L, okay, then we call it as L configuration, okay. Now there is also a sign, okay, which represents the optical rotation. Now don't confuse this sign with this DLN, okay, these are some different things, okay. D and L जो है वो अलग चीज है, and positive and negative sign वो है अलग चीज, okay. D may be positive or negative, okay, and similarly L may be positive or negative. Positive represent dextrorotatory. If it rotates the plane polarized light towards the right side, okay, dextrorotatory. Similarly, we have levorotatory. Okay. So glucose is actually D positive glucose. Okay, glucose is D positive glucose. This is dextrorotatory, and D may also be negative in deoxyribose. Okay, deoxyribose is D negative. Deoxyribose or simple ribose is also D negative. Okay, and the structure is like this. All the OH groups are on the. It is actually pentosis because there are only 5 carbon atoms present. Okay. Okay, this is a structure. OH group is on the right side, confirms this D, and negative is represents that it is levorotatory, not dextrorotatory. Okay, it will rotate the plane polarized light towards the left side. Okay, now this is the structure of ribose. There is also this is D negative ribose. Okay, and we all know in DNA we have deoxyribose. Okay, so deoxyribose means on the second position, on the third position, the oxygen there is no oxygen atom. Deoxy means removal of oxygen. Okay, there is no oxygen atom, and this will be the structure of deoxyribose. Okay, so this is all about the configuration of structure. And one more thing I want to discuss is that this closed structure, this open structure is not actually confirms or follows all the reactions. Okay, this open structure fails to give some reaction. Okay, and after some time, it was founded that the option there is glucose is present in closed structure. Okay, so there are some limitations of this open structure, and let us discuss those limitations first. So now what are the limitations of the open structure? So the first limitation is it fails to give some reactions. Okay, so it fails to give some reactions like DNP test. Okay, it fails to give this DNP test, and also fails to react with some ammonia derivatives. Okay, and it also fails to react with this compound sodium bisulfite and Schiff reagent test. Schiff's reagent test. Okay, so in this test we react the aldehyde with the Schiff reagent, and appearance of pink color, okay, gives us an idea that the functional group present is aldehyde. Okay, this test is given by only aldehyde, not by ketone. Okay, so when we react glucose with Schiff reagent, no pink color will form. Okay, no pink coloration takes place. That is why this open structure is not you can say it is not valid. Okay, this is the first limitation. Okay, so the second limitation is that there are two stereoisomeric forms are present, okay, of glucose. So two stereoisomeric forms are present. How can we get to know that two stereoisomeric forms are present? We do crystallization. Okay, we do crystallization of glucose. Okay, जब हम crystallization करेंगे glucose की at some different temperature. So firstly, scientists did the crystallization at 303 Kelvin. Okay, and they will get a stereoisomer that is known as alpha glucose. Okay, I am writing the complete name, alpha D positive glucose. Okay, alpha D, and with specific rotation of 111. Okay, with specific rotation of 111 degree. Okay, and its melting point is near about 419 Kelvin. Okay, so at 303 alpha D glucose with specific rotation and is formed. Okay, by crystallization. Okay, so by crystallization this is formed, and similarly if we do the crystallization at some high temperature near about 350 plus temperature, near about 373 degree Kelvin temperature, if we do the crystallization, gives another the other one stereoisomer, that is beta D positive glucose. Okay, with the specific rotation of plus 19.2 degree. Okay, so these are the two evidences at the time these two evidences was founded. Okay, these two are the main limitations that were founded at that time. Okay, and this open structure, the existence of this open structure is not valid. Okay, or a very small amount is valid. Okay, and these two alpha and beta forms are in equilibrium with each other. Okay, they get interconverted into each other, but after some time they maintain an equilibrium mixture. Okay, they will form or they will transfer into a equilibrium mixture. Okay, and that at that equilibrium mixture the amount of beta is more. Okay, because it is crystallized at high point, that is why its stability is more. Okay, so this alpha D positive glucose maintain equilibrium mixture, or it gets converted into equilibrium mixture. Okay, similarly this beta 1 is also undergoing change in the configuration. Okay, so now what is the reason why they gets converted into equilibrium mixture? So in this equilibrium mixture the amount of alpha is 36, I think it is 36%. Okay, and the amount of beta is near about 64%. Okay, so these are the amounts of alpha and beta in this equilibrium mixture. Now how they gets converted into equilibrium mixture, and this process of interconversion is known as mutarotation. Okay, mutarotation. The mutarotation. Okay, the conversion of one form into another. Okay, is known as mutarotation. Now, why they gets converted into, or how they gets converted into equilibrium mixture? As we all know that the specific rotation for alpha is 111, okay, and the specific rotation of beta is 19.2, okay. So with the passage of time, its specific rotation gets decreased and its specific rotation gets increased, okay, up to 52.6 degree, because the specific rotation of equilibrium mixture was founded to be as 52.6, okay. It means this the specific rotation of alpha gets decreased and the specific rotation of beta gets increased, okay, up to 52.6. And at this point the percentage of alpha is less because it is not so stable, but beta is more stable, okay. Beta is more stable, okay. So at this point, at this equilibrium point, a very small amount, near about 0.5% of open structure is also formed, okay. Okay, the abundance of the percentage of this alpha, this open structure is near about 0.5% only, okay. So they gets converted into each other, and this phenomena is known as muta rotation, okay. And these two structures are in closed form, okay. These two structures are in closed form. So now let us discuss about the types of closed structure. So there are two types of closed structure depending upon the number of atoms which are present. So the first one is furanose, and similarly the second one is pyranose, okay. Their name depends upon their structure, and they have similar structure to the compound that is furane, and the second one is pyrene, okay. So the structure is if we talk about this furane, structure is like this. This is the structure of furano. This is furano structure, and here we have the atoms, okay. Similarly the structure of pyranose is like this, okay. They are in hemiacetal form, hemiacetal or hemiketal form, okay. So it was founded that the closed structure, the open structure is not possible, or it will not follow the all the reactions. So it means the aldehyde or ketone group is not free, okay. If it is free, then it will definitely give all the reactions, all the nucleophilic reaction, or it will also give the Schiff reagent test. But that aldehyde or ketone group is not free, so that is why these all glucose, fructose, and all the monosaccharides are present in hemiacetal or hemiketal form, okay. Hemiacetal or hemiketal form, okay. Now this closed structure can easily predict, can easily give us an idea that uh, how Schiff reagent and some other reagent do not give the test, okay. Because in closed structure, the amount of, if we take glucose as a closed structure in form of alpha and beta, okay, then the amount of open structure is near about 0.5% only, okay. And these type of reactions are reversible, so that is why open structure is not able to give this reaction because of its less amount, okay. But it is able to give some reactions which are irreversible, okay, like the formation of osazone, okay. And there are some other reactions like reaction with HCN, okay. The small amount can easily give these type of reaction, but it is not able to give DNP test and NaSO3 test, reaction with NaSO3, okay. Now the two forms, that is alpha and beta, differs in the position, differs in the groups at the first carbon position, okay. Firstly, let us discuss about their Fischer projection, okay. The Fischer projection is like this. Firstly, I am talking about the glucose, okay. Now most of the uh, if we talk about the number of carbon atoms which are present in monosaccharides, okay, three carbon atoms, okay. The monosaccharide having three carbon atom always present in open structure, okay. And if we talk about this hexoses and pentoses, okay, having five having 6 or 5 carbon atom respectively. They exist generally in pyranose form except glucose, fructose. Okay, fructose generally present in furan form. Okay, but those who are of less carbon atom, like we have deoxyribose, they all exist in furanose form. Okay, so like we have deoxyribose, ribose, they all exist in furanose form, but all other like glucose, galactose, they all exist in pyranose form. Okay. Now if we talk about glucose, so the structure is like this. Here we have OH group, H group, and at third position OH group is on the left side. Okay. Now what happens? These lone pair attacks on this carbon, and this bond will shift, and this hydrogen gets attached to this oxygen. Okay. Now there are two possibilities. The first possibility is that the OH group which is formed over here, it is present on the left, on the right side. Okay, then it gives alpha. Okay, and this oxygen gets attached to this carbon like this. These are the Fischer projections. Okay, these are the Fischer projections. So write in your notebook that these are the Fischer projections. And then we have carbon over here, hydrogen, and then we have CH2OH. Okay, so this is the alpha form. And if this OH group is present on the left side, then it is called as, then it is named as beta 1. Okay, hydrogen over here, OH. So these are known as anomers. Okay, these are known as anomers, which differs only in the configuration at the carbon number 1. CH2OH. Okay, so the main difference is beta isomer. Okay, so this is beta D glucose and this is alpha D glucose. Okay, now what is the basic difference? The basic difference is only configuration at the first carbon. Okay, difference in the configuration at the first carbon. In beta, the OH group is on the left side, and in alpha, this OH group is present on the right side. Okay, so these are known as anomers. The stereoisomers have difference only at the first carbon atom in the position of the OH group are known as anomers. So write it in your notebook, the definition of anomer. Okay, it may be asked in the exam also. Now these two are the Fischer projections. These are the Fischer projections. Okay. Now how can we write the Haworth projection? In order to write it in this form is known as Haworth projection. Okay, Haworth projection. Okay, now as we all know, here we have a 6-membered ring. So this is also a 6-membered ring, na? That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th one is oxygen. Okay, so these two exist in pyranose form, not in furanose form. So I am rubbing it off. So firstly I am drawing the beta form. Okay, so in beta form, this side we have to write on the above side. Okay, except this CH2OH. This CH2OH, the bigger group is always on the above side. Okay, now OH is on the right, all which are present on the left side on the above. H, and then we have OH, and then we have H, and at last we have CH2OH and H. Okay, and on the right side we have H, OH, H, OH. Okay, okay, you can also check it by numbering. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one is 6. Okay, now draw the structure of alpha 1. So, firstly write which are present on the left side, OH, then we have H, and at last CH2, OH. Okay, and then we have OH, OH, H, OH. Okay, so these are the two Hayward projection of alpha and beta. This is beta form. Okay, and this one is alpha form. Alpha D positive glucose. Okay, this is beta D positive glucose. Is it clear now? Okay, now let us draw the structure of fructose. Okay, both the pyran which now let's draw the furanous structure of fructose. Okay, how can we draw the furanous structure of fructose? As we all know, in fructose we have ketone group. Okay, हमारे पास ketone group है fructose में. How can it changes into alpha and beta? Let us see. Okay, so here we have CH2OH, and here we have the carbon with double bond, and then we have on the third position we have H and OH on the left side, and then OH on the right side. Okay, and at last we have CH2OH. Now again this oxygen attacks on this carbon, and this oxygen shift. Okay, and then this hydrogen gets attached to this oxygen, and now alpha and beta forms depends upon the OH group. If OH group is present on the right side, then it is alpha form. Okay, then it is alpha form. CH2OH is on the right side, CH2OH on the left side. Okay, from here it is attached. This is our alpha form. Okay, this is alpha D negative. Okay, this fructose is in negative specific rotation. It is levorotatory. Okay, negative sign shows that it is levorotatory. Okay, then we have the beta form. So beta form is also in beta form. OH group is on the left side. Then we have hydrogen, OH, OH, H, and from here it is attached. Then we have CH2OH. Okay, so this is beta form. So these are the this is beta D fructose. Fructose. Okay, or its name is its name is beta D fructopyranose. Fructo. As we are drawing furanose. Okay, so its name is furanose. Okay, similarly in case of oxygen they are known as glucopyranose. Okay, write it in a notebook the exact nomenclature. Alpha 1 is alpha D glucopyranose, and similarly here for the beta D positive glucopyranose. Okay, now here it is also fructofuranose. Okay, because here the members are 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth one is oxygen. Okay, now let us draw the Hayward projection. Here also we have okay. So now OH group is on the above side, CH2OH group on the below. Okay. Okay, at the last carbon, this CH2OH is always on the above side. Okay, you have to keep in your mind. And then we have H and OH. Okay, so this is the whole structure of beta D fructofuranose. and then we have here we have OH on the below. CH2, OH and H. Okay, so these are the two Hayward projection of fructose. Okay, similarly we can also draw its pyranose structure when we attach this carbon with this carbon. Okay, then we get a ring of 6 carbon atom. Okay, but this is more stable. This furanose structure, this fructose exists in this structure. Okay, furanose form, not in pyranose form. Okay, we can also draw the pyranose form. Okay. Okay, so practice more and more structures. Okay, try to draw these structures again and again. Okay, so that you can get a grip on these structure. Okay, so I hope you found this lecture helpful. Okay, and thank you so much for watching the lecture.